What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. First off, 50,000 subs. May not seem like a lot in terms of YouTube subscriptions. To me it means the world. I am grateful for anyone that has taken a moment of their time to show me support on my channel in any way, shape, or form. Thank you so much guys. Secondly, over the last couple of weeks, I've asked you guys to ask me some questions. Anything you want to know, maybe about cars, whatever. We're gonna go over those today, see if we can have a little bit of fun with it, and you can learn a little bit something new about me today. Before I get to the answers, you may be wondering what's up with this shirt that I'm wearing. EF headlights, love forever on it. Well, this is a shirt that I'm having created for my 50,000 subscribers. I'm gonna do a pre-order on it. I already have some created for myself and my friends and family. On the front we got EF headlights, of course. And I've been toying with this idea of the love forever. I love the way it looks, you know, I'm a huge EF fan, you guys know that already. Then I had the EF done in a different color to kind of stand out. And on the back, we have the garage built Hondas, 50K, and then we've got Live Forever there. A couple ideas I've been toying with over the last few months, and the guy that creates my shirts put it to reality, and I love the way they look. These shirts are freaking fantastic. I'm gonna do a pre-order on these if you're interested in picking one up. I'm gonna have that link in the description. They're gonna be $22 shipped. That's anywhere in the US. So if you're interested in picking one up, go ahead and click that pre-order and get yourself ordered one. Alright guys, so we're gonna get started on some of these questions and answers. I'm gonna try to keep this video short. Granted, there's a handful of questions. If you're not interested, tune in next week. We'll have another video working on the maroon CRX. But I'm also gonna try to keep something interesting in the background to look at. I know, you guys know that I don't usually talk to the camera much. I just personally don't like videos where all I see someone's face for 80% of the video and then like a 20% car content. That doesn't do it for me. So I don't want this to be too boring for my normal subs and people that watch my channel. I'm sure you guys would rather see something like that, or even that in the background. Well, let's get started on these questions. All right, so the first question, Jose Miralrio. I'm probably butchering your last name, I'm sorry. What do you prefer, Cool Ranch Doritos or Nacho Cheese Doritos? That's easy, it's Cool Ranch, man. Conifer asks me, am I an engineer by day? No, I am not. I figured it out. Cousin Effects, but it's spelled KHASNFX. What was your first car? Keep up the great videos. My first car was a 1984 Nissan pickup 4x4, and it was a copper color. I loved it until a drunk driver hit me. Cody Harrison asks, congratulations on the upcoming 50K. Keep up the good work. My question is, what do you do for a living? I have been a retail store manager for the past 20 years. Let's see. Saga EJ1 asks, ever plan on doing a case swap? And if so, would you do a step-by-step vid tutorial on one? Yes and yes, absolutely. Ray F. Ray, my friend with the black EG coupe, he asks, how does it feel to be the EF king? And well, I'm just an EF fanatic, buddy. And he also asks, is it true Ray's your BFF? You're definitely one of them. John Matthew asks, how long have you been a Seahawks fan? Lifetime, man. I was born and raised in Renton, right outside of Seattle, Washington. Tortuga 34. I love me some old school Honda. But do you have any plans for newish Honda, possibly K-Series? Maybe. I don't really care for any of the newer Hondas that much though, to personally own one myself, except for an EP3. Abraham Garcia asked, I'm looking to buy a 2000 Civic SIR and depending on conditions, start a mild restoration. I'm from Mexico and here you can still find a 2000 SIR, the B16A, relatively unmolested and low kilometers. Aside from basic maintenance like a tune-up, are there any particular things I can do to get the engine running back to optimal performance? Not necessarily, man. Just tune-up, valve adjustment, replace some seals, clutch. Those engines, like the one I have in here, they're pretty reliable and you can kind of beat the hell out of them and they'll go plenty of miles for you, or kilometers. Tommy Kim, great idea, John. Seems like yesterday when you reached the 25K milestone. Congratulations on bringing the Honda community together, more specifically the EF CRX family with the GBH channel. The question I think all subscribers are wondering is what got you into cars. Also, go back in time a little and tell us about every single car you've owned. Thank you again for continuing to share your passion with us. We all appreciate it, John. You know, back in 1999, 2000, when body kits were in, my parents had moved away and I traded my mom. I had a 91 Saturn SL1 that I traded for her 94 Accord EX. And back then, you know, that was like the body kit phase. I threw a body kit on it, I painted it 2 different colors, white and baby blue, shaved the door handles, shaved the corner lights. That just kind of got me started. And then after that, we started kind of working on them a little bit, and it just never stopped. A lot of my friends that were into cars back then, they're not. And I've made a lot of newer friends, a lot of younger friends that are into it now, but it still keeps growing, and I'm glad that that fire still burns. Now, as far as about every single car I've owned I think like about 24 or 25 EFs alone, and then probably like 30 to 35 cars in total. I can't really go over all of them, but you can go back and watch some of my videos on them if you want. Ambidextrous asks, what's your favorite kind of food? Free food? And where's your favorite place to drive your Hondas? Doesn't matter as long as I'm driving them. Cesar Hernandez asks, other than the EF chassis, what's another car you would build? CRV doesn't count. I would like to drive another Integra. John 5 Nguyen, hope all is well with you and your family. Do you plan on working on any other project cars in the future? Well, I picked up this EK Sedan, and I intended to use it as a second daily driver. It needs a new water pump and just a couple small things, but it runs and drives fine. Thought about maybe working on that, maybe have a couple videos, but nothing too extensive. I just want to use it as another beater in case my CRV is down and I want to work on my CRV for an extended period of time. I don't really have a lot of time to work on a car for like 3 or 4 days in a row anymore with just everything in my life. So that would be great to have something else to beat on if I get stuck, like say I can't finish a job, and I can just leave it sitting there and drive this thing around. Felix Rodriguez asks, what do you think of the 2020 Honda Civic Si? I think they're fantastic cars. My friend Ray with a black EG just bought one about 3 weeks ago, so maybe we'll see some of that car on the channel as well. Jermaine Cotton asks, he says, I have a real EF9. I want to ask what made you get into the EF platform. I just love the shape of the body. The boxy like nature of all of them, it just really stands out to me, and I've been a fan since day one. Senor Sancho, not a question. Hope you and your family are holding up with the craziness. Likewise, homie. Hope all you guys are doing well out there with the COVID-19 situation. Hillel Gordon asks, what are the symptoms of a synchro going out? Usually just grinding gears is the first inclination that it's going bad, or having trouble getting in and out of gears. Braden Sullivan says, I got an auto trans parts car. Seems like it has a bent valve. Got it for 200 bills. What is something cheap and fun you would do to it before laying it to rest? Using it to fix my 91 GSR sedan. You know, I wouldn't do anything stupid. Personally, I'm not all about like taking a car out there and trashing it. I would try to save whatever you can off it possible. And let's keep the rest of them on the road. Salvage any parts you may, and then after that, then you can get rid of whatever's remaining. Adam H. First of all, John, you are amazing. Thank you. A complete icon and role model to the game. Thank you for all the tutorials out there that have helped us many times. My question is, besides your track car, which is your favorite car and why? My favorite is my Tahitian Green Pearl EF hatch, well, ED7 for those of you guys that are weird about calling CRXs and all these EFs. It just is. I'm a hatch guy first. I love CRXs, but I do prefer hatchbacks. This is the one I've always wanted in this color when I found it. And if I had to sell all my cars and everything, this is the last one. And I don't even think I'd sell it. I would just keep it because it's something that I wanted to continue to work on. And I feel kind of bad. I really haven't touched it or worked on it a whole lot lately. And like, look at it, it's just sitting here and it's like super dusty. But you know, it's here. Dust isn't going to kill it. It's perfectly fine. Sitting in here, I start it every week, every 2 weeks, drive it around the backyard, maybe out in front of the house. But want to be able to get the time to get back into this car and maybe get some paint correction done or whatever else we can do with it. Austin Hicks, I've been thinking about buying an 04 to 08 TSX 6-speed for a daily driver track car. This would be my first track build. It'd be my first time going to a track if I go through with it. Do you think this is a good starting point? I know nothing about car classing, etc. Also, what do you look for in a car when looking for a car that you plan on tracking? Well, what I look for is a car that I like. Now, if you like the car, that should be all that matters. Don't listen to what anyone else has to say, what you read online. If you like it, do it, man. It's like kind of like anyone out there. They're building what they want to build. If you start listening to what other people want to do, you're never going to really enjoy it, and it's not going to be for you because you're not doing it for yourself. It has to be all about what you want and what you want to do. But my advice is just get out there. Go destroy some tires. Replace some brake pads and see if you really like it. At that point, once you're on track and once you've been doing it, you'll know. That's what I did. I went out there for one time with a couple buddies, and I was hooked. And now I just love driving the cars out there on track. So do it all for yourself, and don't listen to what anyone else has to say. Take everything with a little bit of caution because everyone has different experiences. Probably the most important question that's been asked is by Derek Johnson. He asked T or A, and I don't know if you guys know what T or A is, most of you should, but I'm all about that rear end right here. Alfonso Ceja, hi, on your video that you upgraded your sway bar, that was on this one. Tell me, does 1 millimeter make a significant difference? Really? With a bunch of question marks. It's driving me crazy, I need to know. Probably not in the grand scheme of just doing a sway bar, but depending on what you want to do with the car and an overall aspect of it, it can make a difference, but it might not be anything that's gonna really rock your world. Bobby Delamar asks, any new plans in the works for using your new garage or CRX builds? I love the step-by-step videos and reviews. Maybe one CRX might get a K24 one day. I want one in my 1989, that's why I ask, and I will eventually need advice. Also, he put, I hope you're doing okay with all this virus stuff going on. You go to car shows with your rides. They stopped them here in Fort Worth for now, of course. I'd like to say yes. One day I'd love to have a K-swapped. Yeah, that thing would probably just be, like, the ones I've seen online are just monsters. But maybe not, who knows. And car shows, no, I'm not really a car show kind of guy. The car show that really matters to me is the one that's on the outside on the track side. Iro asks, love your videos and tutorials. I have a 91 Honda CRX that's just waiting to be worked on. A couple questions you may be able to answer. When starting to build on any car, what is the general order you would work on? Engine, wheels, brakes, suspension, exterior, etc. For CRX, what price and time comparisons would you say they are between a K-swap and a B-swap? Well, if we're working on a car, what I like to do first is, it's always suspension and then engine and then fixing up anything related after that. But for me, it's all about suspension because that's what makes the car ride the best. And from B to K swap, it's just price. Obviously, the K is going to be a lot stronger. But it depends what you're shooting for, man. If you want to go really fast in a straight line, probably a B is not the way to go. Now, if you just want to have some fun, and if you're trying to compete with every other person out there, you're never going to be the fastest car with a B swap, unless you throw a turbo kit on it. But it all depends on what you want and what your budget can allow. William Fullman asks, what got you into Hondas? Kind of talked about it earlier with the Accord. I just really like working on them and the simplicity of them. Brendan Tyrell asks, hey bro, awesome content. I'm an absolute noob who is restoring an 88 CRX with a B-swap. I want to completely rebuild the suspension from scratch, but I'm struggling to know what to buy. Do you guys know of a website that breaks it all down? When I look at the shops online, there's so much choice that it becomes difficult as to what parts I will actually need. Does that make sense? If I have the right parts, I'm sure I'll be able to work it out from there by using your videos. Really easy, man. I have a handful of videos documenting how to replace all the bushings, upper and lower control arms, the suspension. Generally, the CRX is not, it's not an enigma. It's really easy to tackle. If you need a little more help, maybe make a comment on some of the videos. I can point you in the right direction, man. I don't know how you say this. J-O-U-X Pain. How many Honda transmissions have you swapped out? More than I can remember, and some I've even swapped out that you guys never even know, that I've never shown on video. This one is MHMD space Hesham, H-E-S-H-M. Hello. How do I choose a CRV motor 1998? I don't know, maybe you're trying to buy a replacement. You might want to look into just buying a JDM B20B. They're a lot less expensive and readily available pretty much everywhere. Fab asks, since when and where did you get your love for Honda cars? It kind of happened, as I mentioned earlier, with that Accord, and then shortly after, I was given a ride by a friend in his Nitrous Type R, and also another buddy of mine, Jaime, with the EG hatchback. He let me drive his LS, and that kind of sold me on it. Sold the Accord in 2001 on eBay for $8,300, and I ended up buying a 1994 Integra GSR, and after that it just kind of was keep building and keep working on them. Ronnie Gonzalez asks, hey John, I've got a two-part question for you. If you had a choice to have one car, your dream car, what would it be? To own that car, you have to get rid of all of your other cars. to have that one car, would you do it? You know, I don't really have aspirations for some crazy expensive exotic car. Honestly, I'd prefer to have like an EF9 right-hand drive, an actual EF from Japan. That'd be kind of my dream car. And would I get rid of all my cars? No, because I wouldn't need to. Those cars are still relatively easy to purchase in terms of pricing. They're not astronomical, and it's something I could probably afford if I just sold maybe one or two of these to help make ends meet. CJ Hogan asks, favorite Honda model? Mine would have to be an EJ8 or an EM1. Mine obviously the EF hatchback. Jania Ludwig, I'm waiting for you to do that dyno with those stage 2 cams and dual springs and retainers. I have the same setup on my DA, thank you. Well, I can't dyno mine because something happened to it where I lost fuel pressure and now it's knocking. So why don't you go dyno yours and you let me know exactly what kind of power it's making so I know. Speed R asks, are you going to do any K-swaps? I like your tutorials and consider the idea of doing one with better tutorials. Maybe. I would love to, but I don't know where I will get. What was your first Honda? It was that 1994 Accord. It's a sedan, EX, automatic. What is your least favorite repair mod to do on a Honda? And that's definitely a clutch job, like swapping out transmissions that we talked earlier. By far the most tedious. It's rewarding, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. Siebertulfo, but thoughts on a single cam projects like Stock VTEC, ZC, Vitara pistons, etc. I love your channel. I've always loved the EF chassis, but can never get into one for one reason or another, so I'm living vicariously through you. Keep up the awesome work. You know, this was a single cam project. Maybe you saw the video that came out last time. Hopefully this keeps moving forward and we get some more work done on that supercharged project. Matt Hudgens put, love your content, bro, and I love the fact that you watch. Thank you. Corey Driscoll asked, what's the fastest speed you ever went in a car and what was it? It was my 94 Integra GSR. I was doing 130 on the freeway. I was having a little bit of fun with my friend George and his RSX Type S at the time. John Monty 92 asks, will you ever build a drag race setup with one of the cars you currently own? Would be awesome content. And I was like, I don't know, maybe. Building a really fast drag racing car requires a lot of money. I don't know if I want to devote that kind of money to. I don't know if I really have that kind of money to put into it, but maybe one day I can build something that's a little bit faster in a straight line. Joe's Life asks, what is your day job? As mentioned earlier, I work in retail. Adam Boyd asks, what's your favorite thing you like on the CRX that makes it a go-kart and built way ahead of its time? I just think the short wheelbase makes it a really fun and responsive car, and they're just built, I think, to handle really well with the way that the chassis was set up and everything, and how lightweight they are also. Adam also asked, are you going to do a turbo build on your CRX or EF? It's like, well, I'm working on this supercharger build. Hopefully we can get it running well and running with no issues. Mark Cole Glazier asks, do you ever plan on doing anything non-B or D series related, like maybe one day an H or K swap into an EF? Also another maybe? Fat Sleepy Panda asks, when did you first get into Hondas and what caught your attention? And if you're comfortable answering, what profession are you in to make the kind of money that supports a Honda habit like yours? Well, I just, you know, I liked the body kits and big wings that they had back then. It was a lot of fun, and I think as I grew into like working on them and seeing what made them work and how to fix them, that just really caught my attention. And it's always been enjoyable just being able to go outside and find something to fix and work on and making them better than what they were, especially since they're also old now. And my profession, retail store management, I don't know if it really makes that much money. If any of you guys know anything about retail management, it's not a huge amount of money. I think what's worked for me is like buying and selling, flipping cars, flipping parts. I've made a lot of money doing that, where my hobby essentially supports itself. So maybe sometimes it takes away from me actually working on a car, where I'm working on something else that just goes back into making more money. But I enjoy doing it, so I'm not going to stop. I enjoy finding those cars and at least helping bring them back to life a little bit. Maybe someone else will keep them on the road. Ben Glick asks, hey John, what is your favorite current transmission setup? You got a bunch of different setups, so I thought this might be a topic of fun. Also, which is currently your favorite in the stable? This one right here. You know, the B20 with the either GSR B16 transmission is a whole lot of fun just to drive and tear up on. And this car has been my favorite as of recent, just because of the amount of fun I've had in it and what I've learned in it and becoming a better driver, because I watched some videos when I first started as compared to now, and I think I'm a lot better with the seat time that I've accrued out there at the track. Efren Bailon asked, are you putting a new B20 on the track car, or are you going for something else? This is going to stay B20 for sure. My goal is to put another B20 in here, same exact setup, and actually get the dyno tuned for you, and then go out and race my buddy in his 8th gen again and see how it does against that car. Joe says, can't think of any questions, but I'd like to thank you for making and putting all the effort into each and every video. May the force be with you. Later, John. Joe, thanks for being around for such a long time. I can't remember when we first started talking, but I feel like you've been there from the very beginning, so appreciate that, man. Dale's Garage asks, what is your dream Honda vehicle? Like I said earlier, I prefer to have an EF9. My first ever Honda, it was that 94 Accord I talked about earlier. What attracts you so much to Hondas, you know, that I like that they're inexpensive and they're just a lot of fun. Like big Lego pieces, swapping engines and parts around. It makes it neat what you can do to one car from using parts from another. Isaac Cornelio asked, do you ever plan on doing a turbo or a full-on track build, time attack, toge, etc.? Would love to see what your idea of a fully built track car would be. Your builds are very mild and reliable thus far. Keep it up. You know, I'd like to keep expanding on this car. Have some plans of what I'd like to do for it, and going back to the B20 is just a way of finishing that cams video that I never got a chance to do, and then eventually stepping up and going with a different power plant, making more power on this car and making it a lot faster than what it is, and of course moving up to a different class and just seeing what kind of fun we could have in it then. Cheyenne Saldana asks, which EF model car made you fall in love with this specific chassis? It was my first one. I had an 88 that picked it up for $900, had a blown clutch, and ended up doing a lot with that car, all the way up to a turbo kit in the time frame that I owned it, and I just knew I loved that specific model and chassis. Miguel Alvarado writes, since right now the scene is more new cars and a build is considered coilovers and wheels, do you feel it takes more work on older Hondas than just coilovers and wheels to be in that category? And plus, do you respect the people that build from scratch rather than a newer platform? I appreciate anyone that's into cars. If you want a newer platform, that's perfectly fine. You know, with having a newer platform, wheels and coilovers is kind of all you need. There's no bushings that need replacement. Everything else is brand new on it. I understand that aspect of it. Myself, I personally appreciate the older cars that have a little bit of character. They have a little bit of rough paint, this and that. Just for me, it's not about having like the prettiest car out there. Yeah, I want to have some that are really nice, like my Y49 and my green SI, and then I have my white Civic track car, my dad's CRX. I kind of like having a range of spectrum because, you know, those cars, we can go out and just beat the hell out of them and don't have to worry about it. But I really appreciate when people are putting the work and time and effort into their old cars as well. But the new stuff, like all the CTRs I see, they're usually just lowered with maybe exhaust and whatnot. Flash Pro, Honda, I'm not sure exactly what they're throwing on there. I love those too, nothing wrong with that at all, but it's to each their own. But it just requires a lot more, I think, patience and energy and time when you're working on something older to put into that car. When are you going to have EG Chris on your channel and vice versa? And I know we've been talking, man, and we're going to try to find a battle for you. That EG you have is far more superior than the cars I have in my lineup, so we need to find someone that can actually hang with you. If you guys are interested, you can check his channel out up here. He's another guy that's local. He's kind of starting out his channel. It's a really nice EG hatch with his K-swap in it. Hey John, love your channel. This is from Halfway Hondas. Hey John, love your channel. Your videos have been so helpful over the years with my Hondas. You're more insightful and detailed than any other Honda channel. My question is, I see you have quite a collection of EFs and CRXs. Would you ever owned an older Accord like a CB7? Would you consider making videos on Accords as well? Well, I've had a 94 I talked about, and I don't really have a desire to really build one. I like I think third gens, what is it, the 9093s? Those are really cool too because they remind me of a DAs, and I had a DA that I really enjoyed as a car. So maybe, but not necessarily. My heart's kind of stuck on these cars, so sorry if you're going to be looking for that future content. Jose Contreras asks, I know you're mainly an EF build person, but damn, show some love for a DA and build one. If I can find one, man, if I have the money and the room, I'd definitely love to get into another DA build. Sekao N posts, hi John, great video posts. I have two questions. Do you have any videos working on a Civic sedan or plan on making any? Can you please do a full video on timing belt and water pump removal install? Thanks, a milli. I picked up this EK sedan, also this 91 Civic sedan. This one actually does need a water pump, so I'm going to be replacing that soon, and I guess I'll go ahead and make a full DIY because this has all of the original components on it, like the AC and this power steering, so I can show you exactly how to go through that entire process. Jovan Polis asks, why are you only attracted to 5th gen Civic and earlier, never seen you make a video on an EK or EJ? Well, Gabe's got his here today, and of course maybe I'll make some on that Civic sedan in the future soon too. Zessin Shima asks, will you ever do a turbo build in an EF? Maybe. We're still working on the supercharged Civic, so maybe that'll give you a little bit of content to watch as we try to get that one working a little bit better. Diego Lopez asks, what do you think about 4th and 5th gen Accords? Have you ever owned or worked on one? Would you build one now? I wouldn't build one now. I'm not really interested. I don't have the desire to do so. I did have my 94 Accord that I really enjoyed. A lot of fun and learned a lot from that car, but you won't see me driving around in one anytime soon. Cody asks, thought on ever doing an EP3 or sedan? I know EP3 are the bastard childs of SIs, but I love them. My first SI. As mentioned earlier, that's one of the cars I would drive. Back in March of this year, March or February, I can't remember. My parents were up in Phoenix. I had my dad go take a look at an 05 model. It was a blue color and had like that factory lip kit around. It looked clean in the pictures, but AC didn't work, and that was the first thing that turned me off. And what he was asking for price, just it wasn't worth what the car, I think the condition of it was in. But if I could find another one that's reasonable, that's definitely something I would pick up. HXHDFJ space IFZIR space ST space C. Best way to kill switch an EF, ground the coil, that kind of thing. You know, there's plenty of ways. You could start with a fuel pump. Fuel pump's always good. Anything related to the ECU, there's a lot of different areas you could go with. Just depends on how you want to do it and how complicated you want to make it and how easily accessible you want to have them or how hidden you want to have them as well. Mike asks, would you install a roll cage in your track car? I would love to install a roll cage in my track car. We have one here. This is actually the auto power. That needs a little bit of work. This one's for the CRX, so we're going to put that in my dad's car. And he also asked, what do you think about a K-swap? If you had a chance to K-swap one of your cars, which one would you choose? I'd probably just K-swap my track car once I get to that point. I don't know how you say this, Jouxpane? Jouxpane. Where did you get those blue shoes? Nice kicks. These old things I picked up at the Nike factory store, and they're my garage shoes now. Jason Bingham says, wow, I wish I had a garage setup like that. You can, man, save your money, you'll get there. Bugs Photos says, what got you into working on Hondas and cars in general, and your garage is badass, it's heaven. Just like I talked about earlier, just the simplicity of them and having fun with working on them. Alex S. asks, is there any cars you've had that you regret selling or cars that you regret not buying? Also, what's your opinion on newer Hondas like DC2, DC5 Type Rs and S2000s? Would you consider owning one? I'm looking at hopefully upgrading from my 03 Corolla Sportivo to a DC5 Type S in the near future. I only regret selling one, and that was my 1990 Integra DA. It was a black one. As in terms of buying them, you know, there's cars in the past that I've kind of wanted to buy and go look at, but I'm all about, like, if it's not there when I'm ready to go look at it and buy it, it wasn't meant to be. There's always going to be another car. You watch. Next week you're going to find another CRX for sale or something else. And DC2, DC5s, there's a nice little DC2 over there. We'll have some content on that, hopefully in the future. Hopefully let me know what you guys think of that. And the last question I have is from Gregory Fetto Jr. Dude, why not clean the engine bay? It's crusty. I agree. I can't, you know, I just never devote the time. Cleaning is like the last thing that we usually work on. It's about fixing and replacing everything else first, making sure the cars are fully functional. I feel like cleaning is for the people that cannot work on their cars or don't have the time or space or tools to do so. You know, I have that time. Like this car, I've had this car since March of 2017. It's now been 3 years and 2 months, and I've never touched the engine bay. I haven't cleaned it. I haven't even changed oil on it because it had been changed like 500 miles before I bought it. But hopefully we'll get there, man. I'd like to start cleaning all these engine bays. This is probably the cleanest one I have, and it's just a little dusty right now, but something I like to do also. Just never really devote as much time to working on the cleanliness of the cars. Alright guys, and that wraps it up. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned something new. Still, if you guys have any other questions, go ahead and leave a comment. I'll more than likely get to it, and I'll have a chance to answer it. Hope you guys dig the shirts. I'm really happy with how these came out. I love them. Hope you guys want to help support me. Go ahead and order one of those. And as you place those orders now, I'll probably keep it open for about 2 or 3 weeks. I'll have the dates listed either in the description or maybe in the comments. Once that's closed, I'll get those created. It only takes about 4 or 5 days for them to make them, and I'll get those shipped out, but I will keep you guys updated on it. And thanks for watching, guys. I always appreciate any of the support you give me. And if you're interested, next week we've got a little bit of video, a little bit of more footage coming up of the Bruins 49, working on the Max Speederos traction bar. Then I did a splitter with their brackets, and then I installed that wing, as you guys may have seen. I've kind of teased it in some of the other videos. So tune in next week, guys. I'll see you then. Take care.